Okay, so today we're going to be talking about all the ways you guys can shut down the RPO read Y flat. This has been the bane of so many Madden players' existence as it pertains to the defensive side of the ball, as a lot of players will save this in their audibles and access it when they need a free first down. Some players will be very in your face with it and base their entire offense around it, making you adjust to this, which will open up their other offense. But either way, this is a play a lot of players really struggle with online. I see a number of people on Twitter complaining about this play every single day. I man up this guy. I put a hard flat on the field. Why can't I stop this play? Well, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, get out your notepads and a pen, and let's get after it. So I've done a lot of content around this play in recent months. This became a very popular play with David T in one of the MCS tournaments around Christmas, and then it spread like wildfire. And while I do feel like this play at its core is a good play, I think it is grossly overstated how good it is, because I think most players just still at this point, we're almost 2-3 years into RPOs being a mainstay of Madden. Players just don't understand the mechanics of RPOs and how to defend them. So when we talk about this from an offensive point of view, we are always looking at the R and the P icons. This is very, very important, okay? And basically with this, when you talk about an R icon from a defensive perspective, this is an alert to you that it doesn't matter if the player you have is in a coverage assignment. He is the read key for the read option. He's going to be pulled into a run decision. Is he going to play the quarterback? Is he going to play the running back on the inside zone component of the RPO? Then the next important component is the P icon. This is actually the most valuable weapon you have from a defensive point of view, because this player is left unblocked in the RPO. So you want to find a defense that allows you to change the P icon so that you can get a player that can impact this play in position. So that's the really simple part of breaking down, for starters, how to understand whether or not your defense is a good RPO defense. One of the things that you'll notice as you move players around your front is that the icons can jump depending on if you pinch or if you crash or if you individually move a player down, or, you know, there's a number of things that you'll see. The icons tend to pop around the defense. So you see right here, when I run this particular look, all of a sudden I've changed the P icon. Now we'll get to that momentarily, because it's going to depend. I'm going to show you guys a real easy base defense to shut this down that takes advantage of these principles with minimal setup. But then I'm going to show you guys the number of ways that you can kind of cheat your defense no matter what you're in to be a little bit better against this RPO. Now, again, if you guys are enjoying this type of video, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you don't mind, drop a comment below. Is this something you struggle with? Do you have something you want to add that can help players out? It's all appreciated below in the comment section. It helps push this video out in the YouTube algorithm so other players can get better at the game and this channel can grow. We've been on a crazy run lately. I want to keep that rolling. Thank you so much for your support. Now let's talk about a really, really easy base defense that can stop this RPO. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to choose the formation known as the 3-3 odd. And I think that this is set up really well, because what this will allow us to do is to create an R icon and a P icon right next to each other against this formation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out in the cover 4 drop. Now, when we break the huddle here, you see that for starters, even if we're aligned with our nickel corner to the wrong side of the formation, we're going to be just fine, because all we have to do is make it so the P icon on this play is someone that is in a flat zone to the inside of the middle receiver worthy. One of the things I oftentimes see online is, well, I had the player in the flat zone, and that would be cool if, you know, he was in free space where you could actually get him unblocked to the flat. But it's very, very important that you understand that Worthy doesn't care if you're in man or if you're in a hard flat. His job is to block you no matter what. So some players always try to water this down and say, well, I manned up the guy who was catching the ball. Well, no, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because Worthy's job regardless is to kind of just get down there and throw a chip block. Now, I did just say that the P icon is typically left unblocked in this concept. I'll explain why here in a moment. This RPO does such a good job at blocking that player in the slot area. The key to this is going to be that you want to actually spread your defensive line. And you're going to notice that this changes the icons in a huge, huge way, especially if you can get this P icon somewhere else. So remember, I just said, if you move your linebackers, you're going to notice that the R icon and the P icons may hop around. The P icon is oftentimes left unblocked. Notice here that we have Aiden Hutchinson, who is our flat defender, as the P icon. So now from a defensive point of view, all I'm going to do is I'm going to shade my coverage down, and that's going to put him into the hard flat. Now, Hutchinson doesn't have coverage skill, but I just want to show you, this is going to basically make it so when we snap the ball, Hutchinson slides out into the flat, and he is in a much better spot to impact this play. Now, again, I understand he didn't make the play because he's a pass rusher, but let's go ahead and change our personnel a little bit here so we can impact this play a little bit more effectively. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Hutchinson actually on the D line. I'm going to put Malcolm Rodriguez out in this flat roll, and right here, it doesn't really matter. I put Hutchinson back in the game. Now let's go back to our cover 4 drop. Remember, all we have to do with this is to make it so the P icon is on the edge. So the first thing that we do is we spread our line to make sure that we have a new R icon. The R icon is oftentimes going to be the first player outside of the offensive tackle. We take a look here. We move Vanzalone inside. Pro tip, you could also baseline to keep him there pre-snap so you don't have to do this step. And then we just shade down. And then when the ball is snapped, you're going to see that Rodriguez is going to go to the outside and make a play on this. So you see right here, he is in a much better spot. Now in regs, we don't have pick artists or lurk artists on our linebackers, but in Ultimate Team you do. So this is going to be something that you would have to be certified insane to throw. And if push comes to shove, one of the other things you can actually do with this is man it up. So again, for all the people that say, well, I've manned up that guy, was he in the right spot? You know, is he standing directly over Worthy where Worthy doesn't care? Or was he actually in a spot where he can impact the player in man-to-man coverage? Because if you do it correctly, it looks like this. If you try to man up a player that's standing right in front of a receiver, the receiver doesn't care. He's just going to throw a block on you. Okay. So make sure that you guys understand this when you go to work on this. When we take a look at this point of view, this is an example where the P icon is Anzalone. And if I were to man him up on this guy, again, what you're going to see with Anzalone is that Worthy doesn't care. He simply does not care. So when we snap this ball, Worthy's going to go out and throw that chip block on him. And then all of a sudden we have one guy to beat, and people are like losing their minds over this. But it's like mathematically and alignment wise, you're not in a spot where you're actually defending this. Okay. So this is a really, really simple concept. What else can we do this type of concept out of? Because it is rather simple. Let's go ahead and go right back into that defense I was just in, which was the 1-4. You guys, for what it's worth, can run the 1-4 and the 3-3 odd out of the Vikings defensive playbook. And there might be others in the game, but this is the one I run, is the Vikings. So one of the things that you guys may have noticed earlier in the video was I pinched my linebackers at the beginning out of the 1-4, and it kind of hopped around the R icon and the P icon. So this is one of those things that you can actually do here that will be really interesting, is you could actually move your inside linebacker to the edge and actually move your P icon inside here. And you'll see that this once again hops the players into different positions. Now, this might be something that benefits you. I personally don't even do this out of the 1-4. I'm going to show you an even better setup here momentarily, but just kind of creating your own RPO defense on the fly. You're going to see here that even if I go back to that whole, like, I'm going to man him up thing, you're going to see that he's going to be able to slide down underneath, and boom, he makes that tackle in the flat. So again, it's about the P icon kind of being stacked on the edge right next to the R icon. So if we were to think about other defenses where this is viable, let's talk about this Mike SS play. This is actually a blitz. If I wanted to, when we take a look at this here, I could slide Mosley in and then put him into a hard flat here in this example. The other cool thing about this is we're now in a better situation from a numbers perspective. We now have Melifonwu down directly over that slot receiver. So we know that that slot receiver is going to block our safety. I could basically run this defense quite easily here with this particular alignment, knowing that they neither have the assignments or the alignment to guard this. So when we go to throw this, I mean, he's right on top of it, and we're either going to get an interception or some sort of knockout right there. Kelsey kind of bullied him. But again, that's a dangerous throw. You really can't make that happen. Now, all of these setups so far have involved a little bit to a moderate amount of adjusting. I'm going to show you guys one here out of the 1-4. It's super easy. I mean, there's nothing to this. You're going to see right here, I have no coach setup at all. Okay. All I'm doing is coming out and cover 4 drop. And for whatever reason, this particular play in the 1-4, if you just shade down, they literally will not block that slot corner, and he just slides to the outside. I mean, there's nothing to it. Now, I know, again, Kelsey broke the tackle, whatever. Kelsey's amazing in regs. But I'm gonna show that to you again. 1-4. I'm just gonna shade down, snap the ball. They don't block him. And you see right there how easy that is. If you have a KO, if you have, you know, anything that impacts the receiver catching the ball, it's over, okay? Now, the one thing I don't recommend is pressing. Now, this may actually still help, or it might work, but you'll notice that the receiver does try to block him here. He sometimes slides outside, and that's what I'm talking about right there. So again, it's all about your alignment. And this kind of lends towards the final thing. What is the reason that, for whatever reason, the slot receiver here in the middle will go and try to block the safety instead of the slot corner? Well, the reason is the alignment of the safety. So what you're going to notice here is that he goes downfield and ignores that player, and that's almost a pick six. So we could actually accomplish this out of any defense in the game, believe it or not. So I'm going to go into a defense I don't even run here. Let's go into maybe like a nickel 2-4, okay? And we're going to call I'm just going to go cover 4 shell here, but you guys could do this out of whatever shell you want. I'm going to call it cover 3 though. You're going to see here that in this example, that if I had this player in a flat roll, you know, if I were to just put Campbell into this flat and, you know, I could do whatever I want up top here, you're going to see that Melifonwu in this alignment is pretty close to make that middle receiver ignore him. You see right there that we got a decent leverage to the flat, not quite what we were looking for. So the real secret is just walking this safety down, just a couple steps. And then whoever's in this alignment plays the hard flat. And then from there, you're done. When you kind of think about it, all we're doing is changing the block targeting so they don't block that guy. And now any defense in the game that you could possibly want to be in is now RPO defense. All right, so let's apply this one more time to another play here. Let's do this out of 3-4 odd. Again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go cover 4 shell. So that way I've got the linebackers walked out on this. You're going to see he's lined up over there. If I put him into a hard flat, walk this safety down here, you're going to see that that slot receiver is going to let that player go. And now he's sitting right there in the flat to make this play happen. So there's nothing to it. And in fact, out of this 3-4 odd, if you really wanted to, you could probably go ahead and get away with the R icon, P icon trick. So when we take a look at it from this point of view, you see the R icon is now the D end, the P icon's the flat defender. Now all of a sudden I could go ahead, and it doesn't matter if this safety's up there or not. I could just go ahead and say, all right, well, I want you to play a hard flat. So I'll put Rodriguez into a hard flat. So this is the tip from about 7 minutes ago. And you see that he just flies out into the flat. Right there, he kind of bumped in, but the guy wasn't trying to block him. And if that doesn't work, you could just go ahead and say, all right, well, now I'll just go ahead and man this up. So you go ahead and spread the line. You man up the tight end here. I'll even put Branch way to the inside. You're going to see here that there's no way that they are going to block. You see right there, again, that's, if you just have a pick artist, that's going to be an easy you know, pick for your player there. So pretty simple stuff. Again, I'm just showing you how to stop RPOs out of random formations. I have the one that I run, which is the cover 4. Don't really have to do a set and forget it. You know, if I'm in a different defense, I could always walk the safety down, but I'm showing you how to manipulate R and P icons. And you're seeing here just how easy this is. You can make it so this almost never blocks the player that they really need it to block in order for this play to be viable. So you can stay flexible on defense. You just have to know how to move your players around. And hopefully this video is helpful. I've done a rendition of this video, I think 3 times since this, you know, play got popular. Hopefully this is the one that hammers the ideas home for you. If this video was helpful, make sure you guys give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys right back here this afternoon with another short, or tomorrow with another long form video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.